Well, I like to start out, but it's an exciting day for us. Mark Barr is out of the hospital and is in our building rehabbing, so he'll work out with our guys it'll be quite some time, and he's got a lot of work to do, and he is not on solid food yet, but hopefully by the end of the week he will be, and have an opportunity to start gaining his weight and strength back. But he looks good. He looks real good, considering what he's been through for the last 8 weeks, so we're proud of that, we're starting to see a lot of improvement from Mark, and he'll be around all the players and coaches now, and I think that will even enhance his rehab. Back for another week. You know, we've only played one game in 20 days, and I didn't like it going into the season, but after we had so many guys that were beat up, I thought that that's been the best thing to happen. We've been able to get a lot more people back close to 100%, one being Brandon Kay. Brandon was probably 75–80% going into the game last week, and played pretty well, made some mistakes, got beat up a little bit, but to this point now he's close to being where he was at the beginning of the season. Bujnak the same way. We held him out last game. He should be ready to go. Everybody's practicing that has not had surgery, and so we're looking forward to having a full complement of players going into SMU game this Saturday at 12 o'clock. Very different game than we've seen. We're seeing more of a passing team this week. Garrett Gilbert, quarterback, throws it. They got two coaches, the offensive coordinator, Hal Mummy, who I know very well, and then June Jones, the head coach. They like throwing the football more than anybody in the country. June's done a great job with the SMU's, got them to bowl games. They're playing well. They've played a very tough schedule to this point. They've had a week off to rest up, and so we'll get their best shot, and so we've got to get after it and put a good game plan in and understand what we've got to do on defense and offense going into this game. So it'll be a test for a football team that has made a lot of mistakes, and we've shot ourselves in the foot a lot in the last 4 or 5 games, but we have had some success. So let's, as I told our players, let's put a good game plan together, and we'll be as rested as we will be for the rest of the year. Now we've got 3 straight Saturday games before an open date against Louisville, and we'll have an opportunity to hopefully put our best foot forward and have a good game. Questions?
The running game at Memphis, I know you weren't entirely pleased with the totals. I think 108 yards.
Yeah, we want to rush for 150 yards or more a game. I think a little bit had to do with our philosophy of what we could do and going in against Memphis. Memphis had one of the better defenses that we'd played against. A lot of speed, quickness. They give you a lot of problems. They gave us some bad plays on first down, which created a situation where we had to throw the ball. But thankfully we were successful throwing the ball on second and third down. But it's an area of concern that when you don't get 100 yards, why? And we go back and look at the film, we actually threw the ball more than we wanted to. But we do want to be a consistent team that rushes for 150 yards or more a game. If we can do that, we'll have some success on offense. It'll help the passing game.
Is it more challenging as a coach to get your team up when you're playing an opponent who's had a win before, as opposed to what you have in front of you now? Is it harder to do against teams that aren't as good?
Oh yeah, hey, you know, players look at it and they look at the team that you're playing, and we've played 4 games now that I think at the time maybe one of the teams had 1 win. Not that they are going to be any worse or better than the teams that we're getting ready to play, but the teams we're getting ready to play have had more wins. They've had more stability in their offense and defense. They've had more consistency, and the month of November is going to be tough for us. In the first week in December, it's going to be tougher. As I told our team, we can't play like we've been playing. We shoot ourselves in the foot, we won't win a game. In the week that we do that, we had way too many penalties, too many lost yardage, too much lost yardage in the kicking game, and with penalties, and they're penalties that shouldn't have been there. Penalties that we could have avoided. So we can't go into this game and have 10, 12 penalties and expect to win.
Do you notice their attention being piqued a little bit more now since you start preparing for this run ahead?
Yeah, we as coaches have to spend more time and with attention to detail in terms of guys lining up on the line of scrimmage right in practice and understanding who's on and who's off. Our snap count, we changed our snap count some the last game, and that affected us a little bit because we felt like we needed to change it, and we keep tweaking our snap count. And that doesn't sound like a huge change, but it is when 4 or 5 games you've been going on a rhythm, and when you change, your rhythm's off a little bit. But we're going to continue to tweak it because it gives your offense an opportunity and an advantage when your snap count is altered and is different. So I think that it helped us in some ways and it hurt us in some ways this last game of what we did with our snap count, but we'll continue to do that.
Can you talk about your seniors a little bit? I know this is a close senior coming up and only had a year, but maybe you can reflect on those guys and what they've done.
Yeah, when you have transition, again, I've been through a few transitions before. The guys that usually suffer the most are the seniors on the team because they've been through so much with one coaching staff. Then you change, and you got your last year coming up, and then you've got so many things that you have to change as an individual player, or whether it's offense, defense, or special teams, and you have to adapt to it. And so I'm proud of this group. I've been proud of every group that I've inherited as seniors. They've always been helpful. They've worked hard. They've been good leaders, whether it was at Ole Miss or Auburn or Texas Tech or here. These guys have really been beneficial to me as a head coach trying to change things in terms of my philosophy. And so it always has a special meaning in your heart for guys that you've just been around a short period of time, but they've been good leaders, and they've jumped on board, and they've been on the bandwagon the whole time. And we've not had one problem with the transition. The seniors have really been the rock that's kind of held this thing together because if you look at some teams that had transitions the previous year, it hadn't always been smooth sailing, and ours hadn't been smooth sailing, but it hadn't been because of our seniors. It's been because of just changing philosophy and running different offense and defenses. So the leadership that we've had from these, I think 16 seniors, guys, is that right? Yes, sir. 16 seniors has been very good, and their roles have been outstanding. And as I told them this week, the players, senior week is for them, but especially for their parents, because they get to come to the game and have their picture taken and go through as what we call a ritual of senior day. But most of these guys will wear shoulder pads and a helmet for the last time for the next 2 months, and then it's over for them. So hopefully we can play well for the seniors and have some positive things happen for us the next couple of months.
Defensively, what do you need to do particularly well to slow that offense?
Yeah, it's like any high-powered offense. They're going to get the ball in space. You got to tackle well. You can't give a lot of yards after contact. They're going to get their completions. I think the quarterback has gone from last year he completed 53% of his passes to this year 64%. And if you go back and look, they played TCU, they played Texas Tech, they played Texas A&M, and they played 2 of those 3 on the road. And he's a veteran. He's been around, and I've watched him for 5 years. Even his first year at Texas, he played some as a true freshman. He's got a good arm. He's tall, but what's very deceptive about him is I think he's their leading rusher, and he doesn't look like a runner, but he can pull the ball down and make something happen with his legs, and so he's a double threat. But you've got to tackle well. We've got to mix things up. We can't just go out and be a vanilla offense or defense and think that you're going to win this game. There's a lot of coaching that goes on in a game like this in terms of getting guys lined up in different areas and disguising coverages and giving a different look. The problem that you have with a team like this is they go very fast. They don't huddle. They don't run a whole lot. They run very few formations. But when they get lined up and they snap the ball in 10, 15 seconds, they're getting ready to snap it again. So your coordinator and your coaches have to be on top of things, substitution-wise, getting your guys lined up in time because a lot of this offense is about going fast and getting you lined up and getting you tired and taking advantage of guys that are going 60 or 70% instead of 100%. I've run this offense. I know. I've been there. I've seen it, and it works. So we're going to have to play a lot of players on defense this week. You'll see guys going in and out and trying to keep as many fresh guys on the field as possible.
With Mark Barr, does your staff think he's got a chance to make a full recovery at this point?
That'll be evaluated. That's really not up to us. It'll be up to the doctors. Right now, we're glad he's here, but I wouldn't count it out. You know, he's made a lot quicker recovery to this point. Now he's not near close to you know, walking around campus and going to class on his own and all the little things that we take for granted. He's a long ways from there. So hopefully we can get him to the point. Maybe someday that might be a possibility. And if it is, we'd love it. But that'll be between him and the doctors. I'd say for the next 6 or 7, 8 months. It's going to be a. He's got to this point, and everything that's going to happen after this point is going to be very slow, very slow.